Councilor White and President Hudson. So whoever will be speaking for the DPW this morning, if you just introduce yourself and state your title for the record, I appreciate it. And we'll get started with a little bit of an introduction and walk us through this.
Good morning, Councilor Carney. This is Jeremy Robinson. I am the Commissioner of Public Works, and I will be speaking on behalf of DPW. Also, good morning to all the other councilors, President Hudson, if you're on, that I see. As always, I have a few of my superintendents with me, along with some of the staff to help me through some of the things that I may not know. Also, I got my first deputy with me, Ann Fordock, and she can discuss some of the things that pertains to her jam, which she calls it, trash and recycle. Just wanted to thank you for the continuous support that you guys have been giving me over my years along the way. I really appreciate it. Also wanted to say that this year, well, last year was a tough year for all city departments, and DPW was no exception. We lost some services that we normally do throughout the year, and we plan on putting that back into phase this year with the new budget. And with your help, this year DPW we'll continue to deliver the city services like we normally do and hit the ground running. Hopefully in July, when we pass this budget, we can start delivering the services that we know we can do. In saying that, we can get into the budget. First, we have our main office budget. If you want to go through that first, I don't know how you want to do this with Councilor Carney, but I'm just going to run off all of our departments. We have 10 different departments, 10 different divisions, I meant to say, in our DPW umbrella, with over 300 plus employees that we employ. So the first one that I will discuss is main office. You got any issues with that, Councilor Carney?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
However you need, that's absolutely fine. And again, if there are questions from my colleagues, feel free to.
All right. So main office is just basically consists of our, our management team, me, myself, and Fordock, along with some new key things that we put in the budget this year, which are obviously, if the sidewalk program get approved through the council, we'll have to employ some new staff, so that's in there as well. We did lose a lot of our staff at the main office due to centralization. The financial team centralized, the personnel team centralized, and the budget team centralized. So we lost all those key components in the main office due to retirement. So, and they morphed into a centralization. So, anybody got any questions regarding main office? Okay,
yes,
good.
Commissioner, I had to unmute. So I'm going back. So all of the positions that were used for like HR and personnel in DPW, they have been sent to central location in City Hall, correct?
Not the actual position, and I'm not.
Not the position, but City
job.
Hall will do all of the intake of the resumes and applications
Yes.
for hiring, correct?
Yes, the job. Yes, you're correct.
Okay, and that put you down how many people?
I think that's 6 or 7.
Wow, you had that many people in that department?
Not in HR. Personnel was just one. Financial services, I think there was about 5 of them, 5 or 6 financial team, and then we had a budget officer that left as well.
Did any of those people transfer over or no?
There's a couple that transfer over. I think we have Darcy Overton. She transferred over to morph into the financial team. I believe. I think it's 3 of them.
So 3 transferred over and the other, what, 5 retired?
The other 4 retired. Yeah.
Other 4 retired. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any more questions regarding main office? All right. So the next department, which used to be called info services, now it's going to be called environmental services. We changed the name this year to basically, describe what these guys do in this department. I mean, it's kind of our do-it-all department. They pretty much do everything in this department. And that consists of, which is new this year, we're going to make a superintendent of that department. We didn't have a superintendent in that department, and this year it's going to be a new superintendent in that department. I felt that with the added responsibilities that we have for this department, I think we needed to get someone in there to head that department, and I think that's going to be a good thing for this department. But this department, like I said, does a lot of things. It's pretty much the hashtag of DPW. They're the litter picking team. They're the public right-of-way, sidewalk, bridge deck, snow removal team. They help out with codes. If you have a code pile from codes, they usually go and pick that up. They do it all. So that's a pretty good, I think, investment for us to put someone in charge of that department. We also knew this year we're going to have seasonal temps in this department to just focus on litter. And I think every counselor on here get the call for litter in their neighborhoods or their districts. And I think by having a team to just dedicate it to just litter picking, I think that's going to be great. So that's new this year. Any questions on that? Okay. So we're going to go to building services. I think this team is led by Kevin Henry and his team, and it's a great team. They do it all. We correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. I think we take care of about 180 buildings, city-owned buildings.
Yeah, that's correct, Jeremy. As far as the ball fields, concession stands, all the parks building, and all the other facilities, fire department and police. Yeah, yep.
So that's good. We take care of all that. You can see the basketball hoops that are going up around the parks. Our team is heading that storm right there. I think that's good for the neighborhoods, good from a city kid like myself that used to frequent the courts of Kirk Park and Berry and Thornton and all those parks. I think that's good for the city to start trying to get to some normalization. But this department, like I said, take care of all those city-owned buildings and city-owned facilities. They do a great job. Also in that umbrella is also our trades, who take care of a lot of things from electrical stuff, plumbing, masonry work, roofers. So I don't know if you got any questions regarding that.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up, Commissioner, and this may be a Kevin question. Now, we got those basketball rims going up, right? And I take that their COVID precaution have been put in place, because I'm here in my district, people are asking, Joel, if you're putting these rims up, how do we make sure that the safety is in place, considering that kids are going to be involved. I take that. Right?
I'll jump in here. I think I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. I know Corey Driscoll's on here, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think isn't Parks going to monitor that the crowd and the over capacity of Parks?
That's correct, Commissioner. The park staff is monitoring, and then as issues arrive, they're going to be bringing it to our attention to see how we want to address it. So they're not, sitting at the courts all day long, but in their duties of, monitoring the park as normal, they're taking a look at the occupancy to see if there's anything we need to be concerned about. They do have signage also posted there in terms of how to remain compliant with COVID precautions.
Okay, so in what way is DPW involved in this?
So DPW oversees the skilled trades, and we're responsible for the removal and the putting back of the rims. That's actually not a parks thing. And just so you know, Counselor, we do monitor the signs. Basically, if we see a sign down on the court, which tells you all the COVID procedures, we constantly replace these and replenish them for parks. So this is something that we are monitoring on a weekly basis. If Parks sees them down, they'll contact me. We'll go and put them back. But there are signs at every basketball court with the COVID procedures.
What does the sign say? I'm sorry to kind of.
I mean, I'm probably the wrong person to ask that right now. They hand me the signs and I put them up.
So it's probably the guidelines of the COVID, COVID guidelines. Maybe I don't know per se, but I can get that information to you, Counselor, if you want to know exactly what's on there.
So I wait for the parks then, because what I read a while back was the putting up of rims was going to be done in stages. They were not going up. They were not going up at once, but they were going to be done. I remember Dr. Weeks and maybe Thornton went up first, and then the other one will follow. All up, Kevin?
They were done in stages over a course of 3 weeks. We just finished the last phase of it on Friday, so now they are all up. But there were 3 phases of this.
Okay. And I think there's a number of kids that are allowed at the park at once or at the basketball court at once, right?
It's got to be the same thing as like a pool, right? When we opened the pools up last year, it had to be like some type of capacity. So I'm only guessing, but that's a parks thing. So I'm assuming that it's going to be, hey, you can only have, if there's 5-on-5, there's 10 people, there's 10 people on each court. Maybe it's 15 to 20 kids. I don't know what it's going to be, but I can't speak on parks, but I think there's some guidelines to that. And then like Corey said, that they're going to be monitoring that all throughout the day, throughout their passing through the park. So.
Okay. That'll be it for me.
Anybody got anything else for buildings and grounds and trades? All right, we can move the street repair, which is always a hot topic, with all our potholes and road reconstruction. And I think last year was a good year for us. Although it was COVID, I think we did a great job with our team and working with some of our contractors to get, most of these streets paved. I think it was about 30 of them last year, and we continue to strive for better and better and better every year. And this year is not going to be any different. I think this year we're going to do the same and deliver that same service that we did last year. And in the leadership of Kevin Hunter and his crew, I think we're going to exceed all expectations and do a great job. And every year is just going to get better. Every year is going to get better. And with us limited in curbs like we did last year, we're going to do the same thing this year. We're going to only replace curbs when needed and try to just focus on paving, which is always a good thing.
Commissioner, I was wondering if I could ask you a question.
Of course.
And I certainly appreciate your department. Your department seems to always at least as, in this particular counselor's viewpoint, always seems to be cognizant of what's going on in the neighborhoods and what's needed in the neighborhoods. And certainly when I call you, you and your deputy commissioner, and indeed your superintendents are always seem to not only answer the phone, but take care of the requests. And it's totally appreciated. And by the neighborhoods too. As far as paving goes, what's our budget? About 4 million, did you say? Last time we had a
4 million
conversation.
Yeah, 4 million in recon, and that's just wanted to make sure I get some correction of that. That's not operating as CIP, Counselor, too. That's something that we're gonna be bonded for.
Well, I asked the same question of engineering. Suppose the city gave you another $4 million, just suppose, maybe from the American Rescue Plan. Would you need more personnel in order to implement the additional paving? I mean, obviously you contract a lot of this out, correct?
Yeah, we do. And if we did get a little bit more money, I think if we wanted to do it in-house, we would need more people. But if we have a contractor, we can probably, and Kevin Hunter, if you're on, you can correct me if I'm wrong. If we get more money, we can definitely pave more streets. We could use it.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, that's good because I wonder, I certainly think that would be great if we could use some of that money. And I guess the plans of the administration is to have basically a supplemental budget, but I certainly would push for more money if your department could. I mean, I'm sure you can handle almost anything we throw at you. It seems like you always can, but I'm very cognizant of that, the paperwork and monitoring the different contractors takes a lot of time, and I don't want to dump too much stuff on Mr. Hunter or any of your other superintendents.
Keep dumping it on them. They can handle it. They can handle it. Keep dumping it on them.
Spoken like a true commissioner. God bless you. And if I could go back to that littering, that's awesome. I mean, that is something that is, one administration actually got a mayor elected on a dunk your junk program type thing. I really appreciate your futuristic thought towards addressing the litter issues. But what would that entail? Like, I don't know what your situation is downtown, but as downtown ramps back up and becomes more of a residential community, I'm aware that sometimes it seems like you drive through downtown on a Sunday morning and all the trash barrels are just jam full. Would you continents put maybe a crew on to pick up the trash during the weekends?
Yeah, we have that already in street
do?
cleaning's budget. Yeah, it's street cleaning. Tom Ely is ahead of that, and he has a team. We identified the fact that people go out on the weekends and people frequent downtown on the weekends, and it's an influx of people, and the trash cans, even though we picked it up on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday morning, it's just felt like it's been filled again. And we identified that, and we have a team that actually goes down there on it's called the downtown crew, and they usually go down there on a Sunday to empty the trash cans. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. We bring 2 sweepers in on Sundays to sweep all the streets downtown to get them ready for Monday morning.
Excellent.
That crew goes down there Saturdays. They litter pick and everything. Usually after a Friday, in the past, after a Friday night, it's pretty wrecked down there. We go down and clean it up and empty all the cans and everything, and then sweepers come in and sweep on Sundays.
That's excellent, Tom. Because that was more than a few years ago. That was a real huge problem, and I expect that'll, as people come getting used to the places being open more, it'll probably become more of a tougher issue for you to tackle. But is there any chance that you could coordinate with the Parks Department about picking up maybe the parks on Sundays too?
That's a good question. I can talk to Julie and maybe we can sit down and figure out some type of coordination, because it doesn't make sense to pick up one area and then the other area looks like,
I mean, especially I know the major parks, and I'll bring this up with the Commissioner of Parks too, but the major parks, with COVID and everything, it was one of the few safe places people could go to and not, and to have a good time basically. And it being open. So I notice on Sunday mornings and things like that, the trash gets pretty heavy in the city parks. People are trying to throw the trash near the cans, but a lot of times it ends up all over the place, you know?
Yeah, I would love to do it, Counselor. I mean, but I think that union rules would dictate that. I don't think DPW can go over there and start picking up trash. I know my guys will love the overtime, but I don't know how that would go with Parks Department. So,
Well, I'll save that question for the Parks Department then,
Hey,
Commissioner.
can I
but thank
chime in
you.
on that for a second? I don't mean
Yeah.
to speak for Parks, but I work very closely with the superintendent of Parks. Actually, he sits on the other side of me, and with Julie. They have a bunch of temps that are going to start next week, and a big part of that plan is for weekends. They are going to clean all the parks starting next week for the whole summer.
Okay. Okay. Who is that? Who just?
That's
Peter
Kevin
just-
Henry.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. Hey, Kevin, make sure they hit those West End parks first. You know, the second council district. Okay. You know,
Yeah, I'll make sure.
and then you can go to Councilor Majuk's district after that.
I'm not sure if
Now
you guys
catch
have
Councilor Majuk first, catch that district first. Take it down the south side.
I'm not sure if you. I'm not sure if you all have met Peter Bardot, but he's the new superintendent over here at Parks. He's doing a really great job. Julie found a good guy over here.
Yeah,
You know,
he
Kevin,
is. Peter is great. Peter is
I
great.
appreciate your initiative in joining forces with the parks and creating that relationship. That's really good, Commissioner Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I just want to add a little bit to what Councilor Hogan said. I think Commissioner would be a good way to explore something there between the parks and the DPW, because I know here in my district there are good residents here that would go out on weekend or weekdays. They just pick up trash because they know kids came and they were playing around, they were throwing things around there, so they just go around and pick those litter up. So and then they leave it, then it will sit there, and then somehow Mr. Squirrel will come around and do what they do. You know, and then it looked like no one have done anything. So I think being able to be cognizant of that and collaborate with the parks, you know, would be a good thing. I agree with Councilor Hogan. And leave his district for last.
Yeah, we'll get something situated with the Parks Department. I'll talk to Julie about it, and we can sit down and figure something out. But thanks for the info on it. This is great. We want to help as much as we can over at DPW. So I think we left off on street repair. I think there's no more questions on that. We can move on to the garage, MEM garage, which is motor equipment maintenance. Last year wasn't a great year for us in MEM. We had a lot of trucks down. We had a lot of issues, but that staff in there worked their tail off, and I think with the new regime, we had our superintendent retire in there, and we got a new superintendent. I think with the new blood, I think it's going to help out tremendously in there, along with some of our superintendents who continue to help in there. We also, we got help with Rich DeVesti, who's our fleet manager, as well as Rich Malazzo, who keeps all the parts and the equipment and stuff like that ordered and stuff like that. So those two are great in there, and we got a great team. So,
Commissioner, can I ask you a question while you're talking about the team and the fleet?
Yes.
So with how many did we end up with the plows? Did we end up getting the 10 plows?
yes.
Okay, so we have the 10 plows, and I know the list came through, but how many other fleet did we get new? How many did we get new? Because I knew you were scrambling because things, like you just said, things were breaking down. So
New plows?
Not just plows, as far as equipment, period.
So that year we only got the plows, only because that was a big chunk of our money. This year we're going for different things. I don't have that list in front of me, but we do that. I think we got 4 small mini plows for dead ends. I think that's on that list. Obviously, we got the Sandite trucks that's coming. I think there's 6 of them.
Pick
There's a
up
lot
any,
of other.
yeah, so when you get that list together, when you send it to Councilor Carney, I like to see that too, because I keep hearing you saying that with the breakdowns and things, we need to start,
Yeah.
I think, looking at our equipment and what we're dealing with.
Yeah, you're right. And I just add on those 10 new plows that we bought, right? I mean, I kept them just as plows. Right now, they're getting washed, they're getting undercoated, and they're going to be waiting for us. So when the first snow drop, November or whenever it does, we're going to be ready. 10 right off the bat. We used to have how the plan used to go before, my tenure is that we used to have, we got brand new trucks. We'll get them as plows, and then in the summer we use them as dumps. They'll start taking things off, and they get used all year long. So that's just mileage, wear and tear, different
Right.
drivers. It's just too much, right? And then we get into a point where we get into, it's Syracuse, it's all this snow, and we got the breakdowns from the summer. I didn't want to do that, so I said we got the 10 brand new plows, and we get a little bit of pushback from some staff. I won't name any names, but we get some pushback. But at the end of the day, I think everyone's gonna buy into it and thank me that we had these 10 plows preserved just for snow.
And Commissioner, let me ask you another question since we're going to talk about vehicles. Sandite trucks. I know that we had, I haven't been in DPW in a while, but I know that we switched over to some trucks that does, I believe, the recycle and the Sandite, and the pickups.
I'm confused. What did you say,
I think,
President?
didn't we bring in a vehicle, a truck that picked up the recyclables and the trash? Or no? Or am I in a dream?
No, we can't pick up trash and recycling in the same truck.
Okay, I guess I was dreaming on that.
But we do get these recycling trucks. I think it's a grant that we get with 50% off that we've been ordering our brand new trucks and then trying to take the older recycling trucks and move them to trash, which are ancient. And that's how we kind of like keep our new trucks newer and our older trucks, obsolete.
Okay, and then I'm gonna be done. But Ann, I want to say thank you because I know you've been working really hard on getting us like money back on different things that we've purchased. So keep up the good work. And I think that's gonna be about it, except for Commissioner, if you can you send over when you talked about the parts and what need, I'll talk to you offline.
Okay, yeah. Whatever you need from me, I got it. You know that. And I'd like to piggyback on Ann. Ann's a great first deputy. She's probably I'm going to be biased. She's the best first deputy in the whole entire city. She has helped me tremendously. I don't think I could do it without her. It's like rice and gravy. It's like peanut butter.
Let me cut back in, Commissioner. Yeah, the dual packers. Thank you, Auditor. That's what I was asking about.
We don't do those anymore.
Oh,
Split packers, no. I don't. I mean, and you can chime in, but I know I don't think we do those anymore.
So Okra bought one for the city back in 2008. It was a split body packer, and they are made to be about like 1/3 recycling, 2/3 trash. They just really didn't work for us. We end up overpacking the trash side and underpacking the recycling side because our recycling rate is only about 13%. So at the moment, they just don't work very well for us.
President Hudson, I'd like to comment on that. In 2008, that truck was given to DPW by Okra, which I arranged for as an Okra board member to look at that possibility. And the reality is a lot of those divided trucks, you can move the variance and take more trash or more recyclables. And virtually everybody else in the county uses one vehicle to pick up both trash and recycling.
okay. Thank you. That's it for me.
Commissioner,
right.
what about, I want to ask about mechanics. Now, I noticed you got in for 29 fellows that work in the garage, and that's down from 32 in the 21 budget. Is that enough?
No.
Do you need more?
I need a lot more. I mean, the problem is it's not it's just applicants, right? I mean, we get these applicants that work on these heavy machinery, but they don't live in the city. You live in Tully or live somewhere else or work for one of our contractors and want to work for the city, but they don't want to move their family in. So we're getting I mean, I think it's everybody. It's not just DPW, it's fire, it's police, it's everybody that's having the troubles trying to get heavy duty mechanics.
So,
and it's a
so in
problem.
other words, Commissioner, but you could have left, I mean, obviously, how many of these 29 positions are open now?
The heavy duty mechanics that are open?
No, well, heavy duty or any of our people that work, auto body repair people or anything like that. We have 29 positions. Are they all
I think
filled?
I think there's about 3 or 4 positions open, I believe. But you asked me if I can use more than what's budgeted, right? So I could
Yes.
definitely use way more than the 29 that's budgeted. I remember from what they, some of my staff said, we had 19 heavy duty mechanics at one time, 20 heavy duty mechanics. And plus a guy that was a trainer that actually trained our mechanics to help them on various things. That was I think that's a great thing. If we had 20 guys, I think we can get things back into service better than the 9 that I have now. I got 9.
What like a heavy equipment mechanic, like in the Department of Transportation in Onondaga County, what would their hourly rate be? Does anybody know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I think is it $3 more? Rich DeVesti, I don't know if you know off the top of your head.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, both the state and the county pay a couple dollars more an hour than we do.
Would that be, Rich, would that change things if we were able to get more money per hour for these guys?
Yeah, anything would help with recruitment. It certainly would.
Obviously, that'd be a union question too.
But private companies are paying $7 and $8 more an hour.
So I mean, so maybe residency plays a role, but also obviously getting more money.
I think more money would attract, not to cut you off, Counselor, but more money would attract some of these guys that are dealing with the residency thing. I think in most cases, money plays a big issue.
Okay. Well, it's something to thank you, Commissioner.
Pat, can I beg you
Commissioner, I have one
piggyback?
other go on,
No,
President.
go on, finish up.
No, I just wanted to, I wanted to recognize the first deputy commissioner, Ann, who seems to, every time I have a problem with a real gnarly constituent, Ann seems to get all the calls instead of the Commissioner Robinson. So I think that
You're
may
right
be part
about
of his
that.
management style, I guess.
You're right about that. I gotta look like I'm the good guy. She's the bad guy. I gotta look like the good guy.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
that's very intentional, Pat.
I know it is. Absolutely. It's management style.
And Counselor Hogan, I'm not gonna say anything else, I hope, after this, but I'm gonna go back to this. You asked this question on the other meeting and you keep asking about would the money entice them to come back to the city? And I'm sitting here listening because I'm looking at all the folks in different departments that won't live in the city regardless of the money. So how do you propose to change that and make that dynamic different? Do people want to live in the city?
I had well, was that question to me, Counselor, or Council President?
You keep bringing it up, so I just wanted to ask about
yeah,
that.
I keep bringing it up because I think a lot of times that's become, over my years on the council and with the city, that's been a particular refrain that if I could live somewhere else, I would work for the city. I feel that money plays a more important role in a lot of these decisions than place of residence, at least among the people that I've always associated with. Is money is the primary cause rather than where I have to live. So that's my opinion. So that's all I got.
All right. No more questions on MEM. We can move into snow and ice, which is our obviously our snow operation, which goes from November to April. Depending on weather, we let these guys go back we have a 2-shift operation from November to April. Breaks down into a day shift operation, which is usually 7 to 3:30, I believe, and then a night shift operation, which is 10 to 6:30, I believe. And that's broken into street cleaning guys, street repair guys, and some of the sewers. I know a lot of people get that confused, but snow and ice is an operation consisting of 3 different departments. And this year we didn't get a lot of snow. I mean, thankfully, I think we needed a break, especially in the pandemic. So we did have the 10 new snow plows. I didn't hear too much from most of you counselors about snow removal. I think it went pretty good. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think every year we're just getting better. Every year we're getting better. We got the equipment now. We got the right people in place. I think every year we're just going to continue to get better with your help and the budget. I just think we can do a lot more. And that falls on me. And with my leadership, I think we can probably, not probably, I think we are going to get better. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Anything else for snow and ice? All right. The next division, I keep saying department, next division of DPW is the waste collection, waste and recycling disposal. That's our Sani department. They get beat up every year, obviously, all year long. Only department that I know that works outside every day, no matter rain, sleet, hail, or snow. They don't get thanked enough. It's a thankless thing when you put your trash out one night and the next day it's gone. And these guys bust their tail every day. I thank them. I can't thank them enough. Ann it's one of her babies, her departments that she oversees. And I think that these guys, they're an epitome of hard work. And obviously there's some guys that don't, some guys in the department that need a little bit of coaching. But at the end of the day, as a whole, I think this department is a thankless thing, I can't say it enough. Anybody got any questions regarding that? Anything we can do to get better? I'm open ears.
Commissioner, about illegal set-outs and all that.
Oh yeah.
That's a coordinated effort. Is that a coordinated effort between you and codes too? How do you guys handle that? Or like dumping in? I know there's that. I always call you about that one lot down on Tully Street. That's actually a Sura lot. I found out, and people dump there, and obviously there couldn't be any kind of, because it's what are we going to do? Like, fine ourselves? But, so how are you handling that? Are you coordinating with Jake at codes, or how's that work out?
That's a coordination with all departments, right? Codes get involved. Brian Eisenberg and Jake, can't say enough for that department. That department is great. We have our own environmental service that goes and picks it up. We also coordinate with the SPD. Sometimes we need to get police involved. Carlos Romain was a big help, and Officer Smith now is a great help as well. And we try to coordinate with surveillance or stuff like that to catch the culprit, because sometimes it's a repetitive thing, right? They know they put it down, we pick it up. They put it out, we pick it up. They put it out, we pick it up. So sometimes we just continue to let them do that, and we survey it and surveillance it, and sometimes we catch the culprit and sometimes we don't. But it's a collective effort.
Okay. Is there is it some sort of coordinated activity? Do you identify chronic landlords, chronic houses? I know one guy calls me up all the time about the dumping that Andy takes care of over there on the creek walk. Is there any, I just have a feeling that a lot of these characters who dump like that are the same people. So I know there's a lot of different departments involved, but I'm just wondering if there's any way we can address those chronic characters.
So the ones that we can, we can actually identify, and yeah, we do address those, but the ones, like you said, that's in open lots that we can't catch, it's more of a collective, we got to wait it out to see if we can correct the behavior. It takes a lot where, codes will see it, they'll tell us, we'll go pick it up, and until we can get, eyes on it, we don't know what's happening. But if it's a resident that or someone that we see that's violating all the time, then yeah, that's a corrective behavior that we can correct, I'm gonna say. And Ann's a part of that, as well as Sam Perry, who's our legal set out guy, as well as Gene Stanton over there in codes. So I don't know if you want to speak on it, Ann. I don't know if I said it.
We very much work. Good. We very much work with codes, and I think Sam is such a key role in that because Sam's came from codes. So like him doing illegal setouts, he finds it very rewarding. He's perfect for the job. But he definitely is one that when he sees something that is not citable per DPW, he's going to raise that to Jake and to Brian. But we definitely always work together, and DPW is pretty much in that right of way area around, like from the curb out. Code enforcement is, stuff on the actual property. So we do have a separation, but we work together as much as possible. And in the new environmental services, which is Andy Jakubowski, he works with them so much every day with all of their properties, with helping them with vacants, helping them when they actually have to go onto a property and do a clean out. So, I mean, so much of what we do is just fully integrated, and it's honestly been a rewarding experience having two departments work together so well. So, but we work with the police, and if we can find them, if there's anything that says like their name or address, that's easier. If not, we have to set up cameras, and we try not to share that information, where we're setting up cameras and when, because we don't want that information out. We'd rather catch them.
You're okay, Counselor Hogan? All right. I think the next department is street cleaning. That's our yard waste pickup, our C&D, all the above. Their incumbents yard waste. So quite sure anybody got any questions on that?
I'd just be curious. I got a number of calls in my district that the pickup was early in the southeast, but I spoke to Ann and she said that it was all on time and everything was going to. So I was just curious if you guys knew what was going on. Was it just like a little pre-pickup, or were the guys out ahead of schedule, or is everything, and how's everything rolling this year so far?
So usually when we do, it's lighter during the first couple weeks. Well, I think it's lighter. I mean, I don't know about this year, but usually that week it was a little lighter. We were ahead. We had a bunch of crews, and they seen that, hey, look, it's already out. Let's go ahead and pick it up to keep us on schedule. Not to say we won't come back around there. Obviously, we will, because it's not time to set out the yard waste, but we just go and pick it up. We also like to correct the behavior and say, don't put your yard waste out until it's time to put it out. But we obviously know that weather plays a big part of that, and we try to be courteous of everyone and not fine people and just correct behaviors as well. And you could speak on it a little bit more, Tom, if you want. But this year, I think it's going pretty good. I mean, it's getting used to for the C&D stuff. Obviously, we changed that this year to the two pickups in July and August. Per the ordinance, obviously, everybody know the ordinance is out there where, you know, you get two C&D pickups a year. And people were abusing it and we couldn't catch them. So obviously we wanted to reel that back in and say, hey, these are the two pickups that we're going to do. I haven't gotten any major calls about it. I don't know if you guys have, but I'll let Ann speak on that one.
So first I would say a good reminder for all the common counselors is we do work ahead when we can. So I know that there was some people inquiring back when we were doing leaves that we were working ahead. If we can work ahead, because, you know, a lot of times during leaves we have 2 shifts, and right up until April we had 2 shifts. So we always want them working. So if they can work ahead, it's fine. My agreement with them is that you still have to be in that quadrant when we said we were going to be in that quadrant, such that no one gets skipped. So that is how we do it. If we can stay ahead, I would rather stay ahead than behind, right? Right now we're like a day behind. And the other reminder is we are still in the contingency budget for COVID. So we are still operating in that, although there's been federal money that hasn't come to fruition yet. So the decision to pick up construction debris not until July had very much to do with the COVID contingency budget. But in the ordinance, it does say that residents only get 2 pickups a year. So it seems like a perfect way to actually apply the ordinance as it's written and come up with a plan for the COVID contingency budget. So Jeremy's correct. I really haven't gotten a lot of phone calls about construction debris. City Line is doing a great job at explaining it to residents. And trying to think, right now we are, like I said, a little bit behind with yard waste because we are still in that COVID contingency budget, which doesn't call for overtime. So we are trying to do the best we can without overtime in street cleaning. I hope that's a good explanation.
Thanks, Ann.
And I know a couple of weeks ago to a month ago, I know you did a great job when everyone was out there picking up trash and putting it by the street side. You came up and picked it up, especially here in my district. You know, we did it Saturday, Sunday, you picked it all up. I want to express my appreciation for that. Now, Earth Day is coming up, which is this weekend. And I know three groups in my district that are going out to actually do street cleanup and pickup. Would that be the same case where you pick them up Sunday? Because I know they are all going out, like myself, on Saturday to get that done. Would you want? Is that the same protocol as what we did about a month ago?
So typically, all groups sign up with the Okra Earth Day litter cleanup, and Okra keeps track of every single group. They usually have over 6,000-7,000 people that sign up, and they keep track of all the streets that people are doing so that there's not redundancy. So you get more streets cleaned up. You know, you don't have 2 groups signing up for the same street. And then Okra will send me a list of all the streets being cleaned in the city of Syracuse. And our instructions are always to leave it on the nearest street corner. And then I send out our crews to pick up all that litter on Monday. We don't have a night shift anymore, so that's why you got the Sunday pickup. So Monday would be the soonest that I would employees. It would probably take us all week to get to the list because it's a massive amount, which is awesome. We love seeing lots of litter picked up for Earth Day. So we don't mind that at all. But many other municipalities make their resident bring everything to their highway department, and we do not. We pick it up on the street where it was picked up. So I would just say, if they haven't signed up with Okra's Earth Day, then yes, you would want to let me know where their piles are. But if they signed up with Okra, then I'll already know.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ann. I think last division that we have is transportation. DOT, we call them. They are the team that goes out and fix the lights, the traffic signs, Road striping, which is one of the things that we couldn't do because of the contingency plan last year. This year, we're going to do it, which is awesome. Everyone knows that we need more road striping. There's crosswalk striping. We're going to be doing it this year, and we got seasonal help to help us out. So Joe DeBello and his team is gonna tackle that this year. So that's great. Also, they do the meters as well. And in that division, I think that street lighting coordinator, which is Ken Townsley, who's helping out with all the street lights, which is doing a great job. He's in here all types of hours doing that. So, and if you have any questions or concerns with street lights, please just forward to myself or Ken Townsend, and he can correct that. But I think that's it for DOT. If you got any questions, that's it for DPW budget. But we can open it up and people can chime in wherever they need to be.
Commissioner, I said I was gonna be quiet, but I just can't today.
I don't want you to, Press.
So I'm gonna ask you another question. I'm looking at all of the different, I guess I'm gonna say work that the state has done on some of our roads. And from what I understand, we're gonna be the ones responsible for maintenance of all of this work, right? Do we get reimbursed like how they did Erie Boulevard? Who's gonna keep that maintenance in these different roads? Who's going to maintenance all of this?
That's us.
That's us. Do we get any reimbursement from the state in any form or fashion?
I couldn't tell you offhand that we do. I think it's it's got to be some type of agreement that we had with the state. I don't know if anybody got any contacts on that. I don't know if Mary's on. Mary might
I
have
think
some.
Neil might have something there.
Yeah, so this is the way that the state handles this. They have a number of roadways in the city that they own, but we maintain. Fortunately, that number is much lower than it is in other municipalities, so we make out good in that sense. But you're correct, President Hudson, that they construct these things, Erie Boulevard, West Street, things like that, and then we are tasked with maintaining them for them under existing agreements. But there is no monetary help that comes with that, to my knowledge.
Okay, so when they think of all of these great ideas, I do believe they incorporate the city into these concepts, correct? Or they just do it on their own?
Generally, they will consult with us and ask for our input on their designs, and we give it to them, but they're not bound to us in any shape.
So you're not like engineering. So if they do that, engineering would get to Marcia Shelley. It wouldn't be DPW, correct?
I think that's apples and oranges when it comes to this. I don't think they're giving us Marchicelli, which would be separate from state DOT. You know, like that's the match that helps the local municipality. With these things, they build it, and we're just tasked with maintaining it.
Okay, thank you.
I have something to say. I can speak a little bit to that. We do have a maintenance agreement with the state of New York for Erie Boulevard, West Street, Adams Street, and where we get reimbursed $174,000 a year for plowing and mowing the lawns.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Okay.
And that was, I think, the new pathway or walk path, whatever that is, Mary worked with the state to make some adjustments to that fees for us to maintain that area. I can't speak to that adjustment. I go and drive it with the person from the state once a year.
Chris, will you just identify yourself so everybody knows who you are? Sorry.
Oh, I'm the project sidewalk coordinator, Chris Ettinger, and I also oversee that with the state. It's a maintenance agreement that we have.
But they do send funding in for maintenance. Okay, that was the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Neil, for your help. Anybody got any else, other questions?
Yeah, to President Hudson's point, Neil or any of, or commissioner or any of the commissioners or anybody, has anybody been in any kind of contact, rudimentary contact with the state regarding 81 and the issues that we might face with the boulevard
Yes.
at all? We've had some initial meetings just through engineering, but I know DPW, you've been in pretty, I just harken back when you talk about West Street, when they put West Street in, they took down 140 houses in that neighborhood.
Yeah, so
140 revenue generating houses. So
Neil and I were on a meeting with them on Friday and with Corey and engineering, and the prelim discussions are happening and we are engaged.
okay. I imagine you will engage the at some point the leadership of the council regarding how those things are going too. I hope.
Yes, I don't think there's an update yet.
Okay, thank you.
Council Carney, you got any closing?
I have something, Commissioner, that
Okay.
is somewhat just out of curiosity. So with stewards, with picking up trash, you know, one of the things that I have noticed in the past is that people were getting injured and they were going on PFL, which is paid family leave, which in a sense kind of impact operation in a sense. How much is that in your department? How much impact has that done?
So you're saying,
You
no, I think you do, FMLA isn't what they're going on, a workers' comp. If
that's
we're
what you're saying, workers' comp, correct, Counselor?
Yes. Yes.
Workers' comp stuff.
How much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
we
how
have
how
that.
many-
So that it's a problem down here because obviously we, you know, aches and pains come with the service that we provide. Especially in Sinai, like I said, they do it all year long, and it's a job that involves some physical work. So I mean, it's a problem. Obviously, it's a problem, and I think personnel and HR are addressing it. I think they have a team together right now. I think they built a team of comp, investigation comp. I don't want to speak for them, but I think they built a team around comp. But we deal with it every day, especially in Santa. We got 15, 20 guys out at a time because they tweak their back or hurt their knee or, I mean, it's just, you know.
I guess, yes, and that's, Ann, did you want to add something before I
Yeah, I can
add the
speak
second
to it.
part of the question?
Yeah, I can speak to it a little in that HR, Joe Gorsuch is going to be working on workers' comp. It is, you know, a high priority item for them. They want to help reduce, you know, workers' comp costs across the whole city, not just DPW. So that kind of has a new focus. And also the solid waste study that we're conducting right now at DPW. That is, you know, one of the things that we're going to look at is our workers' comp costs and, you know, what kind of new strategy or plan or solution, you know, there could be to that. So it's definitely on our radar.
And that was precisely my follow-up question. I wanted to know how, if you put that into monetary value, what is that problem? You see? So that was my question. And I you know, yes, I know it's a problem, but can we put that into numbers? And so we know how much is it costing us as a city?
To quantify it,
I
don't have the number, but we could certainly find it out for you citywide versus, you know, DPW versus sanitation. I'm sure that personnel does have that data.
They do. I was going to say personnel has that number.
Yeah.
Counselor Majoka,
Okay.
this is Auditor Maroon. We just finished a workers' comp report, which I filed with all of you a couple of months ago. All the detailed information is there relative to DPW and others in terms of the monetary cost to the city. It's significant. Take a look at that report. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about it.
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry, Nader, can I have that? I don't know if I got it.
I can't speak to whether you got it, and I didn't send it to DPW. I sent it to the Common Council and to the mayor.
Okay, it
But
might be really useful with our,
I can certainly send you a copy.
that'd be awesome. I think it'd be really useful for the solid waste consultants that are studying DPW right now.
Sure, I'd be happy to forward it.
And then did you say Joe Gorsuch is working on some ways to be able to work some solution out or something like that? Did you say that?
I believe workers' comp is actually in his job title. So he's on vacation right now, and he's been obviously like full force on COVID-19 and doing a great job. But as you know, the COVID-19 responsibilities hopefully dissipate a little. Hopefully he can do that as well. But again, I'm not his boss. I cannot speak for him, but he's doing a great job.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Auditor Maroon.
You're welcome.
And Joe, I mean, Council, I'm gonna piggyback and then I'm done again for real. So, Commissioner, let me ask you about the training. When we talk about training, I'm talking about training across the board, supervisor training, training on being safe. How are we doing that? How are we reimagining training within DPW?
So again, that's a personnel function. They have a training schedule. We did have a safety trainer here that we morphed into personnel who's helping us out with that. We did just have a meeting regarding training, actually, just I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, with all of our superintendents, the head of personnel, Donna Briscoe, and Joe Gorsuch. And they asked us, what do we need? What do you need more training of? What do you need this? I mean, and it was a great meeting. And I think we're going to get what we want out of training this year, as opposed to years in years past. They actually asked us, what do you want? What do you need? Instead of just saying, here, this is what we're training you on. So I think this is going to be a good year for training.
And to use the mayor's word, our biggest asset is our customer service. So I'm hoping that all departments are trained in customer service.
I think actually Donna Briscoe is going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, boss. I think she's got that on her to-do list, right? Training customer service.
Yeah, I mean, she now with Nina Williams has a staff person who is dedicated to training. So, Joe Gorsuch and Bob Laporte obviously focus more on the safety training. And I think Nina is more focused on some of those soft skills. So I agree, President Hudson, certainly customer service training is something that we need. And I believe something that personnel is working on. And also just to add to that, personnel in their budget, I believe, have a proposed equipment trainer, as suggested by Rich DeVesti, our fleet operator, our director of fleet operations, to help train people on how to use the equipment that we put them in and the vehicles that we put them in. Oftentimes we rely on institutional knowledge or the experience that somebody brings in, but taking a page from the county and other municipalities, we will, in the proposed budget, is an additional position to, and Rich can tell you it's beyond a full-time job, but to train people on how to use the equipment and the vehicles that we put them in. So hopefully we think that will result in, not only a safer work environment for our employees, but also less damage to the vehicles and equipment because people will know how to use them.
I think that's all I got. I don't know, Councilor Carney, you're on to wrap us up.
Are there any more questions from my colleagues? Okay, hearing none, then thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and call this meeting to end. And I guess we can move right into parking garage.